The commencement speech nobody gave us. This one is for the parents in the back. Last weekend, I attended graduation at Tulane in New Orleans. Sterling K. Brown spoke. His speech is worth a listen. While he advised our kids on the importance of hydration and sleep and on being alone with your thoughts, I found myself wanting to run it back, to hit reset and start fresh. Literally, I wanted to be in that audience. I wanted to be the person he was talking to, the person who was getting this counsel. I did the math. Knowing what I know today, if I were to start over, could I retire by 40? No doubt. Well, that's an 18-year run. If I started over today, that would take me until I was 70. This was not a completely crazy idea. Which made me realize I am facing a very similar transition to all those kids. The future for all of us is a giant question mark. I looked around at the parents and grandparents in the Superdome. What do we know about what's coming next? Or about how to face it? We have experience, absolutely, but not all of it translates. And some of that experience actively works against us. When should I rely on experience and expertise? When should I embrace eagerness and energy? I may be a 52-year-old parent of 3 college graduates, but I could use some guidance here too. I could use a speech for me. Sterling was nailing it with great advice right down the line, but he wasn't talking to me. His speech wasn't meant to be metabolized by me as a parent. His great advice might have included things I should or could do for myself. No, it was both. But it wasn't getting through. It felt like stuff the kids needed to hear. I needed this packaged into something I could use, something that would help me today see my life as fresh as when it had been me in a cap and gown. Near as I could tell, no one was giving that speech. If I wanted it, I'd have to write it. So I did. Here it is. Thank you, Dean, esteemed faculty, students, and guests. Now, where are my fellow parents? Congratulations. You made it. You made it. All the hard work and strange credit card charges and random phone calls and surprise trips and worry and hope and planning and winging it, it's all led to this moment. You should be incredibly proud. I imagine, if you're anything like me, you're also a little nervous about what comes next. That's natural. What comes next is a big unknown. The decisions our kids are about to make, we've made them, and we know that in spite of all their good intentions, life is going to take them in some very unexpected directions. And as a parent, we can't help but to worry. If your child is coming home, you might be wondering how long before they get a place of their own. If they're striking out with a place on their own, you might be wondering how long before they ask to come back home. You can't help it. It comes with the territory of being a parent. After all, this is the same child who looked at you with blank wonder when you asked them where their cleaning supplies were so you could pack them. But right now, you keep those observations and worries to yourself. Your child still needs you. True, you're not the unassailable hero you were when they were 7. You're human now and more fallible in their eyes. But you're still their parent. And in moments of transition, like right now, that means you've got to keep things tight so that when you do have something to share, you know it'll get through. I'm on this journey with you. I don't know that I have any answers for how to navigate this next phase. Actually, I'm pretty sure I don't. But I do have words for some of the thoughts running through my mind, and to the extent that they might be helpful, I'd like to share them. The big thing is, now, what we're experiencing is very similar to what our kids are going through. This is a new adventure for all of us. But to be fair, our starting points are markedly different, and that changes how we think about what's in front of us. We'd like to believe, because we raised them, that we know better than our kids. I think that's debatable. We see their naivete, and we forget the power of their imagination and openness. We see the power of our experience, but we forget the limiting impact of emotional scar tissue. The hard truth is, to be the people we imagine ourselves capable of being, we've got to first acknowledge our limits and clear them. Today I'd like to address 3 big ones: regret, judgment, and the sense that our time has passed. Eventually, regret becomes an inevitable part of life. Even if you're certain you've made the best decisions possible along the way, always using the best information possible at that time, human nature is such that we will generally still kick ourselves for not doing better. They say hindsight is 20/20. What they should really say is that today's knowledge has a nasty habit of pretending to have been available in the past. What this means is, by now, you've had a chance to see how all your decisions have played out. Some worked, some didn't. And your child, your graduate, has been impacted by every one of them. Here they sit, graduating largely because of you, but also partly in spite of you, And you can't help wondering, what if you had done things a little differently? Who would the child in that mortarboard be if only you had been a little more strict or a little more lenient, if you'd bitten your tongue or had spoken up? As I watch our kids lap up advice from celebrity graduation speakers, cheering and learning in turns, I feel something discomforting welling inside me. I feel how my own child used to look at me like I was a celebrity, and I can't help thinking, how did I lose that? Certainly the answer is buried in one of those what-if moments, right? My mind starts to comb through memories faster and faster, forgetting that every child pulls away from their parents while trying to figure out which decision, which action was the one when I lost her. I won't even be aware that I'm doing this until later, when my daughter asks me to join her on Bourbon Street to celebrate. That's when I'll notice how much tension I've been holding, and how part of me is actually relieved at the idea of numbing it all out for a few hours. Now, I know that's not the right way to handle things, but this one is big. My child is growing up, and when I see her, this human who I've known since she could nap in my arm with my hand as her pillow, I see how I've shaped her, for better, and on occasion, maybe not. Trying to keep regret from infiltrating those moments is futile. But to indulge regret doesn't help anyone. Life is ahead of us, not behind. So when I look at her, I focus on accepting my life. Just that, acceptance. Like any story, there are parts I like better than others, yes, but I find that when I accept all of it fully, I'm able to keep the past in the past and not let regret color how I look ahead. Like any story, the point of life isn't to get it right. There's no getting it right. It's to experience it. Acceptance has other benefits too, one of which is connection. Acceptance turns regrets from things to hide into things I can commiserate with others about. To the degree that they're experiencing the same thing, we can enjoy the camaraderie of a shared struggle. And if I can be completely vulnerable for a minute, some of my biggest regrets are also my best stories. Mistakes make for great stories. Comedies, tragedies, drama. At the heart of all of my best tales is an error in judgment. Another benefit of acceptance is what it means for the relationship I have with my child. Getting out of my own head gives me the space to find a new relationship with the adult version of her. Instead of fighting to keep our old dynamic, I get to experience this person who finds inspiration from sources beyond just me, like Sterling K. Brown, and build a new relationship where we share our experiences as peers. What a rich opportunity right there for the taking if I just accept that this is how life works. Weighed against these benefits, I find the part of me that reflexively turns to regret stops itself, and my discomfort over the past melts into something more akin to anticipation of what's next. Like Shakespeare observed, the past becomes prologue. Secondly, we've got to address judgment. Look, graduation can be humbling. I've been through some serious shit myself, and I know that you have too. Experience can harden a worldview, but graduation gives us a chance to relax or even reset those opinions. You're looking out at your kids on the precipice of adulthood, and if you're anything like me, you can't help but to find your past coming back to you. It might only be for a moment, but it's enough. Old friends, old dreams, old promises you made to yourself, it all comes back. And when it does, we have an opportunity to square up with ourselves and reset, or look away and keep thinking we know best because we've survived this far. I say square up. Put your ego aside and make peace with yourself. Whatever your worldview is, you formed it to get through something in the past. But the world is changing, and what got you here might not work moving forward. And I don't know why, but the ideas I hold on to most fervently, those are typically the ones I discover later were holding me back the most. So maybe you're content, and your judgment is reserved for the kids who think they know better because, hey, you've literally succeeded. How could they know better? Or maybe you're not where you want to be, and your judgment's for yourself. Doesn't matter. Wherever it's directed, that judgment is your ego pretending to know better, and you don't. If we're going to tell our kids don't worry about what others think, the implication is thinking about others has no value. Someone thinks they know better than your child? Ignore it, child, right? Well, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but that's true even if you're the one thinking you know better. But there's good news. When I stopped judging others, that's when I stopped caring about them judging me. And that freed me up to live my own life. Letting go of judging others has freed me from feeling like I've had to meet the expectation of others. And in a world where it can often feel that we're half a step behind where life needs us to be, that's powerful. Finally, let's talk about time. True, it's moving too fast. Life is short. What's funny is that we expect our graduates to embrace every moment, yet here we sit, acutely aware of how precious those moments are, feeling like our time is come and gone. I'd like to remind you, parents, you can't ever quit or think it's too late. Just like your graduates, you owe it to yourself to live, and I mean really live, every minute of your life. This doesn't mean go run amok. It's not a call to YOLO hedonism. It's a call to keep yourself and your dreams alive and active. In 2023, Tulane beat USC in the Cotton Bowl 46-45. Tulane was down 45-30 with 4.5 minutes left in the game. They scored 16 points in just over 4 minutes to win. That was wild. More importantly, that was possible. You're in the audience, looking at your child who's graduating, thinking they have their whole life in front of them. You don't realize, do you? You have your whole life ahead of you, too. You just happen to have had a longer prologue to this moment, but the future, yours is as open as theirs is. So, who do you want to be now? What kind of peer do you want to be to your adult child? The one who's given up flexibility of wonder for the rigidity of experience? Who has forsaken excitement and joy for judgment and resignation? Who says, I'm too old, it's too late for me? Or the one who leads by example, who one-ups the keynote speaker by showing their child what it means to lean into discomfort, who demonstrates openness and acceptance and wonder even after absorbing life's shots, and who models what it means to dream in the face of uncertainty and continues to play at 100% every minute of the game. The one who, when asked to join with the kids for their last hurrah on Bourbon Street, agrees not because he wants to outrun the what-ifs spinning through his mind, but because graduation is commencement, and he wants the first act of this next chapter to start with the word yes. Thank you. With truth and empathy, Jason Seiden.